in the spirit of wanting to vlog a little bit more, I'm getting stuffed up. In the spirit of wanting to vlog a little bit more and talk about things that I like, I decided it'd be fun to do movie reviews. And I'm obviously no aficionado. I'm not an official movie part. I just give you my honest to God opinion. And this weekend I saw Thor 2 with my boyfriend Kyle, and it was good. I liked it a lot. It was a lot of fun. Definitely, what you expected from another Marvel film. And of course, everybody's excited for Loki and for to see if is this a redemption story? Is this is this sort of he's a little more evil than he was before? And I don't know yet. I can't decide if he's definitely more humanized, because there's a really touching scene, and I'm trying to decide if I want to do this with or without spoilers, but he loses somebody, and you realize it affects him, and it's kind of subtle, but you can tell that he's definitely dealing with it, I think. I'm talking about Loki. When I wanted to see this film, I wanted to see Thor and Jane. I wanted to see them because I like that. I wanted to see Loki, that was definitely, and I wanted to see, what else they brought to the stage as terms of continuing the story. I think, and don't hate me too much for this, I think that as far as Marvel sequels go in this whole Avengers, Iron Man, Captain America, Thor world, Thor 2 was not the strongest film, but I think what saved it was Loki, because everybody wanted to see Loki, and the Loki storyline was definitely well done. What else do I want to say? So the movie starts out, there's this ether, these dark elves who you wanted to use it to turn the whole universe... Damn it! These dark elves who wanted to use the ether to turn the whole universe to darkness, and it's very creepy imagery, and the dark elves are scary looking as hell, and the whole ether, the way it moves, and it's like this, it looks like liquid blood, in all honesty, like black red blood. And there's a couple scenes, what happens is Jane finds it, she's in London, and she somehow crosses worlds, and she finds the ether, and it latches onto her, kind of creepy and dark. And there's a couple scenes where she's either hallucinating or she's dreaming, and it's just this creepy, weird ass visual. It was really well, animated really well, and it looks really cool and kind of scary and terrifying. And I have to say, the trailer for this film was very misleading, because I thought events that happened, in the beginning of the film, happened later, and the way they made it look, the trailer made it look like aliens invaded Earth, and then everybody went to Valhalla, not Valhalla, shit, what was it, Valhalla? It's not Valhalla, it's Asgard. Jesus, why did I say Valhalla? I'm so confused, I'm so sorry. Asgard. God, that took me way too long to do. Just click out of here. So Asgard, so everybody, the original, what I thought from the trailer was that shit happened on Earth, and then everybody went to Asgard, and then shit happened there. It's actually switched. The shit happens in Asgard, and then everybody goes back to Earth, which I think was interesting, because it gives us a little bit more on Asgard. I think that's more fun. It was definitely fun to look at Asgard and look at the different, the scenery and the beautifulness of it. We caught bits and pieces of it in Thor, in the first Thor, and I'm getting stuffed up again. In the first Thor, and that was great. But I like seeing other worlds and stuff, because Earth, we know what Earth looks like. So anyway, Thor brings Jane to Asgard, and basically the dark elves wake up, and they attack Asgard to find her, to get her, to get the ether from her. And so everything happens, and I don't want to spoil it too much, but I want to talk about what I liked and what I don't like. What I do like, Asgard was really cool to watch. It was really cool to look at. A lot of the side characters, sort of Thor's best friends and his team, of warriors, Sif and all the other guys. I suddenly can't remember their names. Props to the actors and props to the writers for creating side characters that were really interesting. I wanted to see more. I would love to have, a few more of them, because there was Sif, and there was this sort of element that, like, if Thor hadn't found Jane, he might have gotten with Sif, and even his dad at one point was like stop lusting for what you don't have, and see what's in front of you, or something like that. Lust was probably not the word he used, but anyway. And Sif was really cool. I like her a lot. I think she's just kind of fun and badass. And again, I want to see more of her. I want to see more of these side characters. Even the slightly British guy who has the little rapier sword. The sort of big burly guy who's just like hysterical. I loved him. Again, that's really cool that they managed to make side characters just as entertaining and as important as the main characters, as all good writers should. I liked Asgard. Oh, Frigga. I loved Frigga. Oh my god, she needed to be more in this film, and I was so heartbroken when she was killed. And I guess spoilers, because I don't want to talk about. It's spoilers. I'm not gonna even try and hide it. But and that's what I was mentioning before, because you can tell Loki really missed her and cared, and that's another tangent. So when Frigga dies in the attack, and oh my god, and then she got the friggin' Viking. That was, she was so cool, and so, yeah, so I liked that. I liked a lot, and I even liked the storyline of Jane and Thor. I feel like I say this a lot, I wanted more, because it just felt like their relationship, I don't know, maybe it was because the relationship was already established, that, that they didn't focus on it as much. But then she, in the beginning of the film, said they were gone for he was gone for 2 years, and she wasn't sure if they meant that they were something. And the best part, I will say I like this a lot, when Thor shows up at the beginning of the film, and she walks up to him, and she slaps him. God, no, she slaps him. She's like, you were gone for so long. Why didn't you say anything? And he's like, I'm sorry, I had to go defend the 9 realms, and everything went to shit, so I had to go save it. And I like that he tells her honestly. He's like, I'm so sorry, everything happened. It wasn't like there were things in Asgard that needed to be dealt with. It was like, no, he told him, all the 9 worlds had wars and crap, and I had to go fight them, and that's why I couldn't get to you. And so, I thought that was really cool. I thought that he told her straight up exactly why he was gone, and you could tell that he really was disappointed that he couldn't get to her sooner. Some things I liked the Loki storyline. The Loki storyline was definitely something I think everybody was interested in, because we all love Loki, and he's definitely an interesting character. Although I have to say I was prepared for what he does and the tricks that he pulls, and I just, knowing what I know about Loki, everything just surprised me. And there was a moment where everyone thought he died, and I was like, nah, he's coming back. They just announced a Loki movie spinoff. He's coming back, So, a little bit. I'm a little half and half on the relationship between Loki and Jane. Thor and Jane. Darcy and the intern were fucking hysterical. I loved that to pieces. Darcy is a hysterical character, and I hope she gets more screen time as things go on, because she was funny. I liked her a lot. Things I did not like. Honestly, or I should say things I was not impressed with, because as a whole, I didn't hate the film. But there were elements that I was definitely kind of about. Things I was about, the villain. The villain was, for the most part, a very classical, I'm a bad guy villain, and I'm going to turn everything to shit. He was this dark elf king, and he wanted the ether to turn the whole universe into darkness, and that's all fine, and he was creepy, and that's great. But I think he worked more as something to, he was something for the protagonist to work against. I think the real focus of the story was Loki and Thor's relationship, and Thor and Jane's relationship. And of course, but this, of course, was the villain was just sort of there to add that dynamic, I think. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Villains don't always have to be great to be good villains. I think it would have been far more interesting if the ether was this sort of semi-conscious, aware of its surroundings, and the more I was expecting the story to go, the longer that Jane had it in her body, the more it would start to take over her and turn her into this, sort of monster that could destroy worlds and all this. Like, I was almost expecting, I wanted the Ether to be a little more, like, cognizant and aware of, like, what it was doing, and almost, like, more taking over. And there was elements of that in the film. I mentioned that a couple times she has these I don't know if they're hallucinations or visions or dreams or whatever, where, like, she's just sort of being overtaken by this Ether, and I wanted them to expand on that more. It would have been far more interesting for the Ether to be the true sort of villainizing item in the film, rather than having this dark elf dude. Which, I mean, again, it worked just fine. And it was creepy. The animation and the colors that they used a lot of red and blacks for the Ether and for the dark elves working. And then they had these, like, weird, like, white faces with these super round eyes. That was creepy. So, I mean, again, it's not that I didn't like it. It's just that I wasn't as impressed with it as I have been with other villains. The side characters didn't come back to fight at the end, and I guess there's a little bit of element of they ran away from Asgard, and so now they're all kind of on the run from Odin and from the powers that be in Asgard. And so there was an element of, like, his friends helped him escape with Jane, but they would have to pay the price. I was waiting for that. We didn't get any resolution on whether they got away safely. I would have liked to see the friends come back. And another note, I was noticing this before, they kind of remind me, I get the feeling that almost like these different people, because there was the, slight, I don't want to say oriental, but you could tell from the different friends, there was almost like these different nationalities. Like, maybe they all came from different worlds, and they were sort of Thor's companions from his trips, from his worlds, And I almost got the feeling that, like, maybe if you haven't seen King Arthur with Clive Owen, I think his name is, and Keira Knightley, in that film, his men of the Round Table were actually men that were taken from their homes as children and raised with him to be his warriors. And that's, to me, what this felt like. And there was a scene in that movie as well with King Arthur that they sort of sacrificed their freedom to help him fight a battle. And if you've seen King Arthur, you know what I'm talking about. So there were elements of that sort of King Arthur story with this in there, with the idea of him being this sort of their king that they would sacrifice anything for. And I don't know, I think it was cool that they made some parallels. I don't know if that was intentional or if that was just kind of just sort of a similarity, a coincidence. I need to talk about Loki, because if I don't talk about Loki, then that's like, why am I making this video? For me, Loki, at this point, he's been harking on he's been on this same thing of wanting to be king and wanting and not caring, for the family that he had. He's just very angry. And it's almost old hat, because at this point we've had Thor, Avengers, and Thor 2 to deal with this. So for me, I was expecting a little bit more, just something else. And I think that was balanced really well with the relationship with his mom and the relationship with his adopted dad. I mean, Frigga taught Loki a lot of her tricks and, like, all that different thing, all those different things. So there was that connection there. And when Frigga passed away, when Frigga was killed, you could tell there was a really, really touching scene where Thor goes to talk to him to ask for his help to get Jane free. He's in his, full garb, and his room looks pristine, and he's all, put together. And Thor says, "Enough with the illusions," and it all shivers it away, and you see him just as a mess, like the way we saw him in the trailer, just like hair a mess, the room's like destroyed, because he's grieving. And I think that was something really interesting, and he was funny I almost forgot how funny and snarky and a little not asinine. He was funny and snarky, and I enjoyed that. That made the scenes he was in. And oh my god, that Captain America cameo was the best thing in the whole movie. That was the funniest thing I've seen in forever. It just, the confidence, and to have a rousing discussion about truth and justice. Oh, it was perfect. That was really good. Yeah, I liked that. So as a whole, the Loki storyline, I think, again, there's a moment where you think he dies, and I knew from the beginning they're not gonna kill him, and he came back, and it was kind of like, well, how? And it left us hanging a little because I was curious, how did he come back? Like, how did he make it look like he, walked in? I mean, he's a trickster, illusions and charms and stuff. So I think it'd be really interesting to see how that comes in. And I wonder, in the spirit of the next couple movies that are coming up, how does that affect, the Avengers, or how does Avengers 2, or how does that affect? Because at the end of the film, it's Thor is talking to Odin about how he doesn't want to be king, and then Thor walks away, and it shimmers, with Loki's magic, and it's Loki sitting in the throne, and so I don't know. I'm curious. I think this will be an interesting thing. Will Thor finally figure out oh, it's not my dad, or how many years are gonna pass before how long does Loki have to keep this act up to all of the people there too? But I don't know. As a whole, it's not a bad film. It's not, I don't think it's as strong as other films as far as sequels go in the Avengers plethora, and the Avengers platform. So, as a whole, it's not a bad film. It's a very fun film. And Loki definitely, there's the redeeming factors with Loki and with Thor and Jane, and I like that a lot. But the villain was the storyline was kind of I didn't like how Jane kept passing out all the time, and I felt like once she got to Asgard, she was very much this sort of character that I don't know. It was an I don't want to say anything without feeling like I'm being seriously anti-feminist, because she's a smart woman. But I would have liked to have some explanation as why she was passing out all the time. And maybe I'm being unfair. Maybe that's an unfair assumption to make, that because she's not a weak character. I don't think she is. And I've always liked her. I liked her in the beginning. I liked her in the first film, and I like her in this film. So as a whole, I liked the film. It was fun. It was enjoyable. I definitely want to see more Loki. I want to see more Thor. As a whole, there were a lot of elements I was unimpressed with, but I can deal with that for the sake of what they gave us, which was more Loki storyline and more Thor and Jane storyline, which is really the only two reasons I went and saw the film. So there you go. And I saw it for free because my work gave me 2 free tickets, so no money wasted there. And even if I didn't, I would still go see it. And would I watch it again? Yeah, probably. I would probably watch it again. There was a trailer for Captain America 2, which I'm excited for. That one looks pretty dang good. I just want to see more Steve Rogers. And it looks like the way they make it look like is they got like Black Widow and Captain America are besties who go hang out and go fight crime and shit. That sounds like fun. I'm there. All right. Well, thank you for watching.